Hello?
Yep. Yeah. You hear me?
Yep. All right. Uh, coming to you guys today to talk about some of the NBA action that went down. Um, throughout this week and weekend, there was some big trades that happened in the NBA. One of them being the Lakers trading Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks, and the Lakers acquired Luka Doncic. Let's start out talking about that and just talking about the effects that you think that these players will have for each team. Let's start out with you actually speaking on the Dallas Mavericks and the effect you feel like Anthony Davis will have playing with the Dallas Mavericks now.
Well, I think that Dallas getting Anthony Davis makes them better because he's going to get to play the position that he wants to play. He's already been having a great season. Um, so just moving him over to four, keeping him happy, letting Gafford and Lively play center. I think that's going to make Dallas way better.
I think so too. I think that Anthony Davis, he might actually have a point as far as like not having to guard the biggest guy every night and kind of being able to be that guy who floats around and protects the rim from the help side and stuff like that, alongside his scoring and his ability to stretch out the floor, is going to help Dallas out a lot, especially with the way that he's been playing this year. I think that Anthony Davis is a great player when he's healthy, but that's just the only thing about him is like you can't. It seems like you can't ever trust him to be healthy, or anytime he falls and hits the floor. I know a fan of whatever team he's on has to be holding their breath, probably worried that he could be injured. With that being said, do you think that he's trustworthy enough to bring him to Dallas and feel like he's going to be a big piece for them for the next few years coming, or do you think that they're going to have him there and when I don't know at the first chance they get to get rid of him, they're going to get rid of him?
Man, you know, I think a lot of that depends on him. If he stays healthy and stays on the court, I think they'll keep him around for a minute. But if it looks like he's trying to take them down the same path that Luka's been taking them down the last few years, I think he'll be out of there also.
Okay. So let's move it over and let's just talk about what do you see in the future of the Lakers as far as success goes, as far as team goes. Do you think that this trade is a good trade for them?
Luka is going to sell tickets. That's going to help the franchise. But on the court, I think they took a step back by getting rid of Anthony Davis. And I'm not even really an Anthony Davis fan. Let me just say that while we're talking about it. But the Lakers got so much smart. I know they got Jackson Hayes sitting over there and guys like that, but none of them are going to equate into an Anthony Davis for them. And I don't even know when is Luka going to be healthy enough to play.
I don't know. I don't know. That's the one thing that was saying. I feel like the fact that the Lakers got rid of Anthony Davis, in my opinion, kind of makes me feel like they're not really thinking about winning right now. And I know that's crazy to say when you have Luka Doncic coming to the team, but I just feel like Anthony Davis and LeBron, they seem like more of a better pair to win a championship than Luka and LeBron because Luka and LeBron seem so similar in that aspect of they both are going to want. They both need the ball in their hands, to be honest with you. LeBron isn't LeBron when he's just cutting or kind of like a secondary option, you know what I mean? Even though I know this year he's been being a secondary option, but the ball always starts in his hand. He usually comes down and he'll be the one who gives the post entry pass to AD. And when he isn't, it's only because he's orchestrating from the other side and letting other people know get the ball into him. I don't think it's ever the fact that I just think that LeBron is such an alpha dog. He doesn't know how to take a back seat. And I think with Luka coming over there, somebody's going to have the ball in their hands less. And if not, it's just going to, I don't know, it isn't going to look good because I feel like Austin Reeves still deserves the ball. There's guys on the team who can make plays and make shots. So, in the same aspect of Luka being such a good player, he's a good player doing things a certain way. So it'll be interesting to see if he can, like, kind of change the way he plays, or if LeBron is going to change the way he's played in the last 20 years to benefit the other player.
Well, LeBron has played with other great players and made it work. So if anybody can do it, he can.
No, for sure. I'm not saying that he ain't played with other great players and made it work, but like for instance, I feel like he played kind of a different role when he was playing with when he played with Miami. I felt like he was off ball. You know what I mean? He was good with going
Yeah.
to the elbows and catching on the elbows and playing that way. Then when he played with Cleveland and he had Kyrie, he knew. I felt like the moments to like where Kyrie needs the ball and allow him to play and make his plays. And then obviously being with Dwayne Wade, I feel like it was the same thing. But I just feel, I mean, to be honest with you, there's a certain type of selfish to Luka Doncic, in my opinion, to where it's going to be hard for LeBron to, I don't know, just like not hard for LeBron, hard for the team. LeBron is always going to be LeBron on the court, and Luka's always going to be Luka on the court. I just want to see how the rest of the players gel around it because those two are obviously going to demand the ball a lot, even though Anthony Davis did too. But AD demands it in a different area of the court than Luka. You know what I mean? Luka demands it
Yeah.
from taking the ball out of bounds, bringing it all the way down the court, and he wants it in every position he can get it in. Pause. But at the same time, uh, I just feel like it's going to be hard for other guys to have like success out there. For instance, when Tim Hardaway Jr. just felt like it was. I think that he was saying it was really hard to play with Luka because you basically got to sit in the corner and you got to be ready. You just got to ready to be catch and shoot, and it's hard to play like that, especially when you're a playmaker yourself or can create off the bounce. So it'll be
I think
interesting to
JJ,
see.
I think JJ Redick could put the ball in Reeves' hand, let him bring it up the floor.
That'd be. I mean, that could be a thing. I ain't gonna lie. I think that Austin
Both
Reeves
guys
has
can
an
put the ball.
underrated handle. But okay, so now we'll move on from that, and let's go ahead and talk about um, how San Antonio just picked up De'Aaron Fox, and what do you think that that will do for their franchise?
De'Aaron Fox playing for San Antonio makes them way better. Stock rise. They're going to be tough to beat this last half of the season. And I don't know where they sit in the standings, but if they're close enough to get into a play-in game or maybe the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised to see them make a push and make it into the playoffs.
I
If
could
they're in that type of position right now.
no, I could too. I was saying this to you earlier. I feel like De'Aaron Fox being there in San Antonio, having a fast, creative point guard who can get downhill, who can also make shots from the three and the mid. I mean, he's just a great player in general. Putting him alongside with Victor Wembanyama, and which is a dynamic big guy who can also step out and make the threes. But he's obviously a great finisher around the rim. He can float around the court. He's obviously a great defender. He's a future star in the NBA, if not a star right now in the NBA. But putting those two guys together, it's almost like having an old San Antonio Spurs team. Like I said, and then they got the Devin Vassell, and they got several other players who can also like add to the greatness of the team. I just feel like I said it's like almost a revamped San Antonio Spurs team. And I think that they're going to be really good too. I think that, like I said, De'Aaron Fox. I was surprised that Sacramento had took such a dip off of the fact of 2 years ago they was in the playoffs and being ultra competitive with I believe the team that ended up winning the championship. Was it the Golden State Warriors when they was having that
Yeah,
battle? Yeah, so like just
yeah,
seeing them play in that series kind of made me feel like we was going to be seeing Sacramento for the next couple years to come, or the next for the foreseeable future, being in the playoffs and being a competitive team. But then over the last 2 years, they've kind of went backwards a little bit, and like I said, it's almost like they're willing to like kind of blow up the team without having De'Aaron Fox on the team. I feel like you kind of lost uh,
yeah,
your superstar in reality. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Even though, with that being said, they brought somebody to the team who feels as though that they can be a superstar, and I think that he's proven himself for a while in the league now, but it hasn't really equated to his team winning at a high level, which is Zach LaVine going to the Sacramento Kings. Do you feel like that he'll be able to step in and kind of take on that role that De'Aaron Fox was playing and potentially make the team better, or do you think that they're the same, or do you think that they're worse?
Um, I think they were pretty much going to stay the same. I don't really think that dude coming out of Chicago is as good as De'Aaron Fox. He's not going to be able to run the team like De'Aaron Fox. So to me, I think Sacramento went backwards with the trade for sure.
So you don't think that he's going to provide any level of leadership as far as like because I feel like for a couple years or whatnot that the Bulls were actually seeming like that they were on the surge going up, and Zach LaVine was a part of it. But then I feel like through trades and through injury and just inconsistencies with people being on the court or on the team, that they never like ascended to the team that they could be. But now he's on the team with like DeMar DeRozan, who he has a history with over in Chicago, I believe. And then he also
Yeah,
is over there with Sabonis, who is solid, a really good big double guy. And they got, like I said, some other really good players like Keegan Murray who can shoot the ball. And like I said, just a roster that has talent. When you
you
add
know,
somebody who can score the ball like Zach LaVine, who's athletic and who can, you know what I mean, handle the ball and play the way he does, you think that they go backwards though.
yeah, I think they do go backwards because if he was that guy, he'd have been that guy in Chicago. They'd have been better than what they were. And when you say they came up some, in my opinion, it's only because Chicago was from where they started at. Yeah, they came up, but they were still just average.
That's true. That's true. All right, so moving on past that, just wanted to speak on the fight that we saw this weekend, or the fights that we saw this weekend. So there was some really good boxing matches on this weekend. One of them being David Benavidez versus David Morrell, and then last night we watched Clarissa Shields fight. And I think that actually, like I said, I don't know how many of the people who are watching this right here watch boxing, but the fights were
To the victor, this is round number one.
I mean, again, we keep mentioning the power. Benavidez already took a couple of left hands, but
Morrell goes to the body with the left hand.
Both fighters really starting to establish already what they do well in there as Benavidez corners Morrell.
Benavidez! The left.
incredible fights. David Benavidez. He moved up from 168 pounds. I know that a lot of people know the name Canelo Alvarez. He was Canelo Alvarez's mandatory for 3 years, and Canelo would never fight him, so he went ahead and moved up to light heavyweight. And now he's out to get at Demetrius Bivol and Artur Beterbiev, and the show that he put on Saturday, I think lines him up to fight against people like that. But the David Morrell kid, he's a young fighter. He had only fought 11 fights, but very explosive, has knockout power. They put on a show, 12 rounds of good action. Dad, you obviously have been a boxing fan for quite a while. How do you feel like that fight stacks up in the mind of what you've seen boxing?
It was a great fight. It was a throwback fight. Nobody was running. Nobody was hiding. They stood in front of each other, and they really fought. And that's what made the fight spectacular. Some of these other boxers that was watching should have been taking notes.
Do you think that
What makes the fight spectacular? Oh, we stand in front of each other and really fight.
yeah, no, do you think that David Benavidez is one of the better fighters that you've seen, or is he just one of the great fighters that you've seen?
Nah, for nowadays fighters, he's a great fighter.
Well, I'm just talking about fighters all time, though. Do you feel like from the people that you've seen, and this ain't the first fight you've seen of him or whatever, so you know more than what we just saw on Saturday.
He's a great fighter. He's a beast in the ring. He's 30-0.
Do you think that there's a reason why Canelo Alvarez never accepted the mandatory fight and decided to fight him? Is there a reason?
Because he was gonna get some work. Oh boy, was gonna put it on him, and still will.
Okay, so obviously you know that Canelo Alvarez, yeah, he's got.
He's a plotter.
Well,
He's a plotter.
so you feel like Terrence Crawford is gonna have success against Canelo Alvarez?
Absolutely. Because Canelo Alvarez, he's going to hit you once, maybe twice, but Terrence Crawford's going to hit you 5, 6, 7 times at a time. Boom, 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 boom. And then he ain't going to be there. And for Canelo, a guy that really, he ain't no mover, and he ain't no dancer. He's a plotter across the ring. He's going to try to cut the ring off, make it smaller, try to get you up on the ropes and beat you up. But the problem with that is Terrence Crawford ain't going to just stand there.
Yeah, no, I agree. So moving on from that, what do you think of the Clarissa Shields fight? What do you think of her performance that she put on yesterday? And what was it entertaining to you? What do you think?
She's a good fighter. And she'll probably beat up all the girls.
No, for sure. I ain't gonna lie. I like the way she ended it. Right before she did what she did. Right before she did what she did, I was literally saying to Vanessa, "Oh man, she wanted to knock her out. She ain't even gonna knock her out." And then she dipped and she came up with that right hand and caught her right on the jaw and dropped her.
I will say this: make it 3-minute rounds.
Yeah, I think so too.
If girls are gonna fight, then let them really fight and move it to 3-minute rounds and get off that 2-minute.
Yeah. I agree. I think that the rounds are too short. It's hard to get into, like, I feel like you got to make quick work of whoever you're out there going against, because if not, the fight is going to be over before you know it. They go, I think championship fight, it was yesterday, they went 10 rounds of 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Guys go 3 rounds, 12 minutes, so they're fighting 16 more minutes.
12 rounds, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
6 minutes.
Yeah, so they're fighting 16 more minutes in a fight than even what the girls are. I think that it would be exciting. I think that they should add the extra minute, and I think that they should add the extra rounds and just keep it what it is. But I think that it was a good show nonetheless. Like I said, I love the way she finished. I love the way that the other girl, she stayed on her feet. You know what I mean? She made it a fight. At the end of the day, she made it a fight, but it was exciting. And it was fun to watch. But go ahead. Well, let's move on. Let's move on, though. Let's go ahead and get to the NBA picks of the day, all right? So today, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to name them out loud, and then you just call them when I name them. So the Hawks versus the Pistons.
Hawks.
Like I said, the Pistons because of Kate Cunningham, in my opinion. Wizards or Hornets?
Wizards.
I'm going with the Wizards as well. The Rockets or the Knicks?
Knicks.
Okay, I'm going with the Rockets because of the youth and because of them trending up. I think they're going to keep going that way. The Kings and the Timberwolves.
Timberwolves.
I agree, Timberwolves, especially with the trades and people being out. So I'm going with the Timberwolves easy. Bucks and the Thunder.
Bucks.
I'm going to go with the Bucks as well. The Spurs versus the Grizzlies.
I'm going to go with the Spurs.
Like I said, I'm going with the Grizzlies off the strength of I just seen the Grizzlies beat them not too long ago, and also people being traded and things just being different with the Spurs. I'm going with the Grizzlies. The Pacers versus the Jazz. They're playing in Utah.
Pacers. Jazz ain't trying to win.
Okay, I'm going with the Pacers as well. Pelicans versus the Nuggets.
Nuggets.
I'm going with the Nuggets as well. The Magic versus the Warriors.
I'm going with the Warriors.
Like I said, I'm liking the young teams in the NBA right now, and I'm going with the Magic. I'm going with the youth. All right, the Suns.
Draymond's coming back tonight.
I don't give a damn. I think the youth is still going to whoop them. All right, so the Suns versus the Trailblazers.
Suns.
I'm going with the Suns as well. All right, so I think that, like I said, overall, I think that the NBA is in good shape. I think that the trades that went on over this weekend made the NBA a lot more exciting and a lot more. I think the topic of conversation was the NBA. For all you young NBA fans and people who are trying to become basketball players, I think that this is a great time right now to dive into watching the games and just becoming more of a fan because you see the type of things that are happening. But yeah, no, we're going to keep coming to you and keep giving you guys information and news about what's going on in the NBA and also letting you know about other sports that are interesting. But also picking who's going to win these games. You know what I mean? Dad, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to shout out Cannon Catchings playing over at BYU. Yeah, had a great game last Tuesday. 8 from the floor, 23 points. Just keep grinding, man.
All right, you all. Hope you all have a great day. We're going to end it off with this funny video. Peace.
Michael. And now give it some razzle-dazzle.
That's my mom.